Hello, my name is Clifton Wesby, and I head up the Opticon software development here at DataWise. As you know, we have been working on software solutions to allow users to take your Opticon scanners and pick them up off of the shelves in order to create applications that they can use right then and there, as opposed to having to go out and hire software solution providers, which is not as time effective and also not as cost effective. The solution that we have provided allows them to plug in a CD, load up our software, and create an application in minutes. I'm actually going to show you just how easy that is right now. We're going to start by creating a 2-minute app. One of the things we'll want to do with the 2-minute app is create a database called stock. We need to add a couple of fields to stock, one of them being barcode, the other one being item name, we will want to capture the quantity of the item and the price. Once we have created our fields, you'll want to add in a couple of records to be able to display on the scanner. And you'll add one more. And we'll save it. Now that we have our database set up, we'll create 3 screens. The first one will be called item check. And what we want to do with our item check is we want to prompt the user to scan a barcode item. We'll add color. Add text. Wait for the user to enter a barcode, and then do a search in the stock to find out if that item actually exists. If the item does exist, we have an option to display the item details, or we have an option to take them to a page that says the item is not found. On the item not found, the only thing we want to do is allow the user to understand that that item was not in the database and that they will be returned back to the item checker screen. On the item details, we will also add color. This time we will make it green. And what we want to display on the screen, if we find the item, we want to display the item name. The next thing we will do is have a display for price. Then we'll prompt the user to press any key and navigate them back to the item checker. Now, one of the features we have is the ability to design the screen before we leave off of it. And what I'm going to do is simply show you how that looks. I'm going to change the fonts and make sure that all of these align correctly. I would do the same with the next set of text and responses. As you notice, I hit the down arrow and these numbers change. And I align it so that the X's are also different. And then when I hit the run screen, it shows me exactly what it will look like on my screen with the amount of spaces that I have allotted for each field. So I close this out and my application is ready to be tested. I hit the play button and I have my information shown. If I scan and it is the wrong item, it will let me know the item is not found and then take me back to the main screen. This is all it takes to create an app in 2 minutes. The only thing left to do would be to dock your scanner on the docking station, which would change this icon. It will enable this deploy button, and upon selecting the deploy, it would download that code onto the scanner. That would be your 2-minute app. Don't forget to save your app when you're finished. Now we are going to create an application that's a little more complex by selecting New App. In case you haven't saved it, you can always resave your application. And this one we are going to call Stock Take. First thing we want to do in Stock Take is we want to add another database. This time we want the database to be called Users. We're going to add a couple of fields, one called barcode, one we call username, we're going to add a couple of fields, and we're going to add a couple of records. Save users, and as you notice, we still have stock in there. And so what we will do is we will add that database back as well, so that we can use both of them. Now we have both users and stock loaded into our application. The first screen we will add to this application, we will name as Startup. And with Startup, what we want to do is we want to check and see if there is a user that is logged in. If there is a user that is logged in, we will go to the main menu. If there's a user that is not logged in, leaving that value blank, we will take them to the login screen. Now it's time to design those. With the login screen, you simply want to prompt the user to scan their ID card record the scan, and search to make sure that that user is logged in your database. And then make a decision to decide if that user is in the database, to allow them to go to the main menu. If they are not in the database, then we have to take them to a failed login screen, which will then take them back to the login. Since we have the failed login screen, we'll finish up designing it first by selecting a color, which we'll select as red. We will allow the user to know that they have failed to log in. And after they press a key, we will navigate them back to the login screen. Now we'll design the main menu screen. You'll want to drag on a main menu control. You'll want to title your main menu, and we'll create a few options. One we'll call item check, and the other one we'll call stock taker. And that's all you need to see for your menu. We'll view it to make sure that everything looks correct. One of the features we have is to be able to select the F1 keys and navigate to a screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this F1 key and I'm going to associate it with the main menu. So that way, anytime you hit the F1 key, you will be able to navigate back to the main menu. And now I will close this out. And now we'll design those two pages. Now, as we did with the item check, we will add a color. Prompt the user to scan an item. Capture the scanned item. Search the database to make sure that that item exists. and make a decision to navigate to either a page that shows the details or item not found. With the item details, we want to display a color, the item name, pull the value that we just searched, and then this time we will also show the price along with the value that is represented in the database for it. But we will also add one more, and this time we will show the quantity. Along with the value represented for quantity. Then we'll prompt the user to press any key. Then navigate the user back to the item checker. Before we leave this page, we'll want to make sure that everything aligns properly. So I will make sure that all of the fonts are set correctly at 4. And then I will make sure that they do not overlap. And I will hit the run button once again just to make sure that they are all aligned correctly. And we will design the item not found page. This is a simpler one where we select the color. We tell the user the item was not found. Capture a key press. And navigate back to the item checker. What we have not done is we have not created the stock taker screen. Now this added functionality for the stock taker, we will add a color. We will prompt the user to scan an item. Capture the scan. Search the database to ensure that the item exists. And this time we're going to do something a little bit differently. We're going to update the database. In updating the database, we want to go to stock. We want to select the field in which we want to update. And we want to discuss exactly what it is we want to do with that value, which we want to take the current value that is there and we want to add 1 like you would in a stock take. And we will navigate the user back to the item details page where we will show the new updated count. And now we will execute the code to see exactly how it works. So the first thing is to scan an ID card. Now we have a user. I want to scan an item. Press any key and it takes you back to your main scan item screen. If you enter in the wrong key, it will let you know that the item was not found and then take you back to the scan item screen. Now if you remember earlier, we added an F1 function which takes us back to the main menu, and this time we're going to go to our second functionality that we built in called the stock taker. With the stock taker, you scan an item, and this time instead of just displaying the price, it actually shows you that it updated the quantity. Now this will conclude our demo. As you can see, we have taken a lot of effort into trying to make the user experience with the Opticon scanner seamless, easy, and time efficient. With this software, any user can pick up a scanner, load in the software, and create their apps. The only thing they have to do is dock it on the docking station, click the deploy button, and download it to the scanner. And the only other thing you want to make sure is that you save the application. Thank you so much and have a great day.